Welcome to episode number 72 of the Awake with Jake show. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the 3 different stages that we can find ourselves in when we're in a relationship. And I personally have been in all 3 of these stages, so I really know what it's like, and I've embodied this myself and experienced this myself, so I'm speaking from my personal truth. And if you haven't done so already, could you please subscribe, rate, and review my podcast? This will really help me get my messages out there and further spread this message of love, hope, inspiration, and wisdom. So in the first stage, relationship, which was, earlier on in my life, I'll talk about, there was a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, a lot of control, a lot of jealousy, a lot of manipulation, a lot of emotional abuse, and sometimes you'll even see in relationships physical abuse. And these relationships are often very toxic, very unhealthy, very codependent, and they use a lot of tactics. Each person, they use a lot of different tactics to control and gain power over the other person. Sometimes you'll see a person that's really the intimidator in their relationship, and he or she will use things like money to manipulate the other person. Oh, well, if you leave, what are you going to do financially? Or they'll use kids, for example, as what are you going to do about the kids? We should stay together because of the kids. And this is something I saw my own parents do. They stayed together in this toxic relationship because of us kids. It took my father at 11 years old, when we were on a fishing trip in Maine, beating me with a fishing pole so bad that I was bleeding down my arm, for my mother to walk over to him and say, that's it. Our relationship is done. We are getting a divorce today. It is starting now. Oftentimes, these people come together out of very physical, lustful attraction, and it's all it ever is. Sure, the physical body can be a beautiful thing, and it can be admired, but let me tell you this. If all you have in your relationship is a physical attraction, you have a hollow shell. Okay? It really doesn't do a lot for your soul if all you ever are is attracted to a person's ass or abs or biceps. You have to go beyond the physical body, the heart, the soul, the intellect, the emotions, if you really want to connect deeper, more spiritually with a person. And this is really, as you evolve in these different stages of consciousness, you'll start to realize the different types of relationship. It is a very fear-based. In the stage 1, it's a very fear-based relationship. They stay together too long because of fear. The fear of being alone, the fear of being lonely, the fear of never finding love again. And they really use so many tactics on each other to make each other feel like they need each other so deeply that you could never find another if you left me. And there's so many little games that are played within these relationships. It's really quite sickening. But as we go through it, we realize that this isn't what I deserve. And if you're in one of these relationships right now, I really want to ask you, what is your intention for being in this type of relationship? Why are you settling for this stage 1 type of relationship where you're being guilted, shamed, you're being beat down mentally, emotionally, maybe even physically? There's a lot of jealousy, a lot of insecurities. Why are you tolerating this type of relationship? Is this a pattern that you picked up from your mother and father growing up in your childhood? Is this really what you're willing to settle for in life? And you have to start asking yourself, why am I allowing this? You'll feel like you're trying to force love. You really feel like you just need to change everything about that entire person. And I just invite you so deeply to just step into this space and ask yourself, am I willing to tolerate this type of relationship? Because if you're not, what's holding you back? Your ego needs, your fears. It's mostly just a collection of your own thoughts. Sure, there may be some things that you need to actually do, but when you confront these fears, you remove this toxic energy from your life. And when that happens, you create more space for more beautiful things to unfold in your life. The universe will send you more things, more beautiful things that are in alignment with your vibration when you let go of the unhealthy energies in your life. And you know what they are. And oftentimes it's the relationship that we're stuck in. And I say that in air quotes, we're stuck in this relationship, but you're never stuck. You're choosing to be stuck out of your own fear, out of your own stuff that you're so attached to. I invite you to confront those fears with a loving intention to set this free, to release this from your heart and stop settling for less than you really deserve. Because you deserve to be in a loving, soulful relationship. Whether you know that or not, maybe you've never even experienced that type of love, but I am telling you, it is possible. That love is so real, but that love also begins with yourself. And if you don't know what you deserve, then you'll never manifest it. But I can tell you right now, if you're unhappy in your relationship, you're in a stage 1 relationship, you got to really start going deep with yourself and confronting those little fears, those little demons. In a stage 2 relationship, now you're getting more of an evolved relationship. You'll see two people that are coming together that maybe have started working on themselves more at a mind level. And they're starting to do personal development things. And it's all good. They're learning to speak their truth. Maybe they went through a couple hard, toxic relationship, maybe a divorce, maybe a bad breakup. And now these people are coming together. They're learning to speak their truth. Maybe they're learning to set healthy boundaries. Their heart is starting to open. But there's still a lot of fixing going on within the relationship. Each person is kind of trying to fix each other. And when you try to fix your partner, you plant a seed within them that basically says that you're not enough. You are not enough when you try to fix your partner. So no one likes to be fixed. So if you're in a relationship, one of the things that you can shift is listen instead of trying to come up with a solution for their problem. Okay? Being that strong, grounded figure when someone's just having an emotional response to something is much more beneficial for you and your relationship by listening and just being a loving space instead of trying to control the situation, manipulate the situation, and bring it to an end. That's a very masculine thing. It's just like, I want to bring this resolution to an end right now, so let me just fix it. Let me give him or her the solution right now so I can end this problem. But when you do that, you actually kind of close the other person's heart by trying to fix them. Another thing is, they're still really afraid to be vulnerable because of past trauma, childhood trauma, maybe a really bad breakup, whatever they've gone through. Their heart is still pretty armored and they're working through it. They're aware of their wounds. This is the big thing. They have awareness of their wounds and they're really beginning to process them. And this is really the difference between a stage 2 and stage 3 relationship, is because those wounds are there and they have awareness of them, but they haven't really started healing them. And the healing is what needs to happen in order to get into the stage 3 relationship. These two people are very kind of guarded still from their past. So in order for the heart to open, which the heart does want to open, if you look at the heart like a beautiful flower, okay, and on that flower maybe you have 100 petals. If only 20 of your petals are open, the heart is not fully open. You want to get all 100 of those petals to open, and you do that through consciously releasing your past pain, okay? Bringing an awareness to the areas of your life that you've been hurt in and forgiving those people that have hurt you and forgiving yourself. This is a process. It has taken me years to let go of many of my wounds, and I still at times have many triggers show up, but I know consciously that these triggers are here to teach me something. These triggers are helping me develop a deeper understanding about myself so I can show up more fully for my clients, for the people I'm of service to in the world, for myself, within my relationships, within my friendships. All across the board, I am constantly being initiated, whether it's through pain, whether it's through crying, whether it's through laughter, whatever I'm doing in that moment, I am being initiated to step into a higher version of myself. So we can't be the victim of our lives and say that, oh my God, this relationship sucks so bad, I can't believe I'm in this. No, you're in it. So start looking at it. Start looking at your relationship and asking yourself and really figuring out and gaining clarity on what you want in life. Because the relationships, the worst relationships, will help you identify the things that you really don't want in a partner. I have been in some severely toxic relationship and where in fact I was actually physically abused by the girl I was with. And that was a very toxic, unhealthy relationship. And it brought me to this understanding that I don't deserve this. What, because I was abused by my father growing up, I'm just going to tolerate it now in a female? No. And I started really going deeper into my own heart and soul and finding out things that I loved about myself. And I'm like, I won't settle for this. I know how much I show up in a relationship. I know how good I treat my partner, and I'm not going to settle for this. I won't settle for anything less than a beautiful divine love. And you shouldn't either. And that's really what I invite you to think about is, why are you settling? Why are you willing to settle for a relationship that's not fully serving your highest good? And if you're single right now, great, because you're in such a good spot where you can really take time to just self-reflect and go in your heart and find out what you want. But don't just jump into a relationship out of loneliness, out of the fear of being alone because you don't want to be in this world. Because if you can't stand on your own 2 feet by yourself, someone else won't come along and help you stand on your own 2 feet. And if that person becomes a crutch of your life and they leave you, you're going to be even worse off than you were before. So you really want to start to realize that love your aloneness, love yourself enough to be able to be alone and choose out of your own desire to be in a relationship, because that person could add value to your life and you could add value to their life, and you can make our planet more harmonious. In a stage 3 relationship, each person has consciously identified that they are already whole and complete. That's the first thing in a stage 3 relationship. Each person is 2 circles coming together, 2 whole circles that are coming together and just intersecting a little bit to share divine beauty in our world, in our universe. And it's a very beautiful cosmic dance between these 2 people. They have already come together, probably in past lives, right? But they have chosen to come together again in this life. Maybe you could call this like a soulmate relationship, where it's a very settling, loving feeling. You don't feel nervous around this person. You have a lot of trust for them. There's no anxiety. You feel really good with this person. And this, some people will call, like I said, a soulmate relationship. And they're coming together to co-create love on our planet. More love, to extend the vibration of love out into the universe. And it is such a beautiful dance. It is such a beautiful dancing of 2 hearts and 2 souls intertwining together as one. They're seeing each other as the mirror. They're coming together in a beautiful state of divine union to be the mirror of each other, to allow each other's hearts to further open. Your heart can always open further. You can always love more. You can always be more compassionate. You can always be more open. And that's the beauty of a relationship, especially a stage 3 relationship, is you can help each other to further open more than you might have been able to do by your own self, especially when you remain conscious throughout your relationship. And sure, you're going to have unconscious moments in your relationship. You're going to get fearful. You're going to have moments of lust or insecurity or whatever you're going through. But you work through those triggers. You work through those together by communicating consciously. This is in the stage 3 relationship. They're very consciously attuned. If someone's needing space, they don't take it personally. They just say, okay, go have your space. I'm right here. And they don't try to fix each other. They're just loving spaces for each other, because when you create a loving space within a relationship, you create a beautiful garden, the environment for which that flower can grow. So if you look at each of you like a flower in the relationship and you create this beautiful garden, that space is a beautiful space for each of you to allow yourself to grow and transform and become a more beautiful divine version of yourself. This is more of a soul-to-soul connection. It's not just physical. They've gone way beyond just the physical body, and they've really tapped deeply into their hearts and their souls. Both of the hearts are wide open, okay? Both of the heart chakras in this relationship are wide open. This one I will say again. Both hearts are wide open, okay? In a stage 3 relationship, there is very, very little fear, okay? They are loving so fully. They have died many deaths in this life. And when I say that, they have destroyed so many parts of their ego and weakened so many parts of their ego that they've come together to share. And they've chosen to come together not out of loneliness, but out of the knowing that by being together, they can extend more love into the world. And they also are totally aware that if their soul contract ends, then they would choose to consciously uncouple and move on. But this doesn't mean love ever leaves their heart. They choose to not get angry at each other, not say hurtful things. They're just so open. and so receiving of each other's love. They breathe each other in, breathing each other in and out, breathing each other in and out. And it's such a beautiful union. It is a divine union. Both of these people, beings we'll call them, embody both the dark and the light. Yeah, this isn't all about love and light, although we want it to be, right? They embody their shadows. They embody the dark sides of themselves, and they work through that stuff still when it shows up. They've already spent a long time working on their souls and really evolving, but they still embody the dark parts of themselves, and they never stop working on themselves. They don't just say, oh, my spiritual practice is done. I'm free now. We can be together and be happy. Hoorah. No, they are here to continue to work and evolve and grow, and that is a stage 3 relationship. And these are just really examples, not judgment, but examples to give you perspective on what's possible. Like I said, I speak from personal experience. I have personally experienced each one of these stages, and sometimes you'll drop back into a stage 2 or even stage 1 sometimes, but you can consciously move up through the system, through energetic system, if you will. You're ascending more in consciousness each time you let go of an old pattern, an old habit, an old wound, if you will. Thank you so much for being a part of this episode. I hope that something that I said woke something up within your heart, within your soul, and is going to cause you to take that next step in life. And please, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. It will really help me to further reach more people. And as always, stay open, stay loving, and stay connected to that beautiful source within you.